The pressure to have an amazing holiday can actually be the thing that ruins it. And when holidays are things you save up for and look forward to, then that's just madness. Roll theme. Welcome to the Jonnie Jensen Show, where modern dads discover how to create the true riches, relationships and results they deserve. Get your High Value Man blueprint and join our community at highvaluemanproject.com. Let's go. Hello, men. I am back. Yes, I've been on holiday, vacation for all our stateside listeners. My name's Jonnie Jensen. I'm the head coach and founder at the High Value Man Project, and this is the Jonnie Jensen Show. Welcome to our regular listeners, subscribers, and to everyone new or to people who aren't subscribed, then it's great to have you here. Please go and subscribe to the podcast right now, right at the top of this show. Before we do anything, make sure that you are connected up. Hit the button, make sure you get the latest episodes. And this episode, off the back of returning from 12 days away, but 10 days actually there on vacation, on holiday. And it was bloody brilliant. And it being bloody brilliant is not an accident. Have I always had good holidays? I think since I've been single, I basically have. And that in itself is one of the pressures, one of the challenges that I felt this episode was important to cover. It's the summer. Right now, we've had a glorious summer and people can go away for all kinds of destinations, all kinds of lengths of time, all kinds of experiences. Getting it right is key. And putting too much pressure on it is a mistake that men can often make, right? And when we make mistakes, particularly in our families, in our relationships, this trip, sometimes depending on your finances, it can be the thing that you've worked hard for, most of us in the High Value Man Project are business owning dads, but there are some of us who are employed or in senior positions inside of companies. So the amount of holiday time we get is limited, which also puts pressure on. It has to be good. It has to be epic. It has to be memorable. And when that pressure is put in place, what can come with that is an expectation or a need for it to be a particular way. And when it doesn't work out that way, that's where arguments come from. And I can remember, in my own experience, having rows with my ex-wife on a holiday, having a row with a girlfriend on a holiday. And it's embarrassing, to be quite honest, looking back on that and thinking, could I have done that different? Did it really matter? What was the impact of me being like that? And anger in itself, if you listen to any of the episodes on anger is something, or frustration and anger is something that is about us. The pressure, the expectation, the frustration, it's something within us that comes out in a moment. We have to be responsible for the thing. We have to be responsible for seeing what is that underlying ick, the reason that we're ready to snap and the reason that we're ready to get going on something. It's always in us. And holidays are a key one about this. You've worked hard, you've paid for it, everybody should be having a good time, and all of a sudden there's something wrong. Well, I'm not here to preach about it. Like I said, I've got it wrong in the past. But I do want to share some of the holiday that we just had. And I don't know, I used to riff quite a lot of the podcasts, and today's episode is probably one of those. I've put some little section headers to see how we get on. But more than anything, I just wanted to share our holiday, really, and share my approach to having good times, which, guess what? No surprise, I learnt them off my family. Having incredible trips, holidays with my dad, and that was something he always did well. My dad likes a holiday, throwing money at it, going away and having a good time. But and my family in Chicago, those road trips when we went on competition with the Chicago Junior Guards, and what it is to have 10 days away with a whole bunch of people and the experiences you can share and the fun that you can have. It's often better, more memorable when it's more organic. Okay. And that's some of the stuff that I'm going to share. The High Value Man Project is a community. It's a collective. We're predominantly midlife dads, men who are wanting to create the life that we desire, as successful and happy at home as we are at work. And being that kind of man, leading in your own life, being the man and dad that you want to be, takes something. It takes a higher level of values and understanding, a willingness to have or to be, do, and have more. And when you can see life like that, when you can master your relationships like that, when you can show up for people, yourself first and foremost, but then others in that way, life gets better. It's like the opposite of what people normally do. And that's why it's so beautiful, so simple. It's not something you have to study or hustle or tip your life upside down. It's something you become. And when you've understood the 3XC formula and the fire code and you're applying it on a day-to-day basis, you get to experience life as it should be. If that sounds interesting to you, go and get your High Value Man lifestyle score. It takes a couple of minutes. You get a completely personalized response back based on your answers, and you get that at highvaluemanproject.com/score. You will find out about how to participate one-on-one or how to join Forge. So, holidays. I'm a single dad. And I'm in an incredible long-term relationship, but I have my kids still, right? Couldn't get rid of them. Of course not. Truth is, I fought tooth and nail to have my time with them. But that does bring some financial challenges. The business High Value Man Project is growing and is successful, but it's not quite where I want or need it to be. So finances do play a factor in holidays. And, for a lot of the men inside High Value Man Project, money isn't necessarily a challenge, but it has been for all of us at some point in time. I've done the newspaper, sun holiday vouchers. We've been to a caravan park. We've had all ends of the holiday spectrum, and you can and should have just as much fun wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Now, of course, it does depend slightly depending on the age of your kids, but I think, not as much as I think, but I know, personally, I know it and I believe it that you can have it too. We create it as an attitude within our family of embracing where we're at, of having a laugh, of taking it all in our stride. So letting it be easy is really what I'm getting at there. And this is a dad I know, he likes to have his holidays infinitely planned out. Like months before he's gone, he's telling me, I've booked this, we're doing this excursion, we're hiking up this hill, we're doing this. And I'm going, seriously, dude, that's a lot of planning. Are you going to be able to relax? Are you going to just chill? So I guess there's a part of it where you pick the flavor that works for you, but does it work for all of your family? Do the kids want to have that much stuff lined up? Does your missus and even for yourself, if you're 100 mile an hour kind of guy, what's it like to simply switch off? To leave some gap time in the holiday. And of course, people go on all inclusives, and that's literally like, I'm just going to eat, drink, and do nothing. Okay, great. The money side of it, as I mentioned, it's important to be clear on what your holiday is going to cost you. Over and over again, I've heard holidays become a pinch point, like around finances. Everything ends up being more than it should have been. It's gone on the credit card. You use the holiday as a reason to really fix the marriage. Like, we're going to go, everything will be all right. We're going to go away. We're going to have a good time. Everything will be fine. Like, we're going to, just as soon as we get on holiday, everything will be fine. And then you throw a load of money at it. And what you come back really is with sunburn, credit card bill, and things sort of worse than when you left. Maybe still the same, but for some people even worse. Because the whole experience was you being confronted with all the things that each other does that does your head in. Right? It can't be that way. If you're approaching a holiday and there's been some frustration and tensions in your relationship, then it's important that you address that like before you go. Even if you just call time out, you call like a truce, the ability to say, I know things are a bit tough, but can we just park all that? Can we just really focus on what we do best. The reasons we like having fun together, the reasons we fell in love. Like, let's not be frustrated about all the little things that we've got going on. And it might be before you go that there's an opportunity to say, look, if there's something you need me to know before we go, if there's something that you'd like to ask of me before we go, then let's do that. Let's get it out there right now. And if you can't use that as a reason to dump a load of crap on her, but hopefully it opens up a space where you can say, right, we're not going to do this, and we're just going to put a lid on that for the time that we're being away. I guess in no particular order, because this is the order that I've done it in. Okay, next up for me is I've got 2 kids, and most of my holidays when I go away with the kids are just me and them. So they've got to an age now where taking a friend is incredible. It's like literally the secret weapon. It's the ultimate hack. And it's not going to be easy if you're going on some mega bucks holiday to get a friend to come along. But our trip away in the summer, we most commonly go down to France, to Lake Annecy. My brother lives there. And in the summer, they go to his wife's family in Cyprus. So that leaves the house empty. It's got a pool. It's got a hot tub. The view is incredible. Like, the whole thing is perfect, which also means it's relatively affordable. So we can say to a friend, would you like to come? And if you can find a way for your kids to take a friend, oh my gosh, if you think, oh, why would I want to have more kids with me? It's literally the opposite of that. They entertain themselves. They keep each other occupied. And if they're old enough and you're lucky enough, they'll even help out. So you've got more hands to do the washing up, to do the cooking, to if you're at a home or you're self catering. It is a game changer, quite honestly. And my kids and I are very close. One of the, I think people fear like the drive down there, but actually the drive down for me is always pleasurable. It's about an 8-hour drive down, 10 hours with a couple of stops. And I mean, I love driving, especially in Europe. Like driving in England or driving in is awful. That's a whole episode in itself, probably one to do with Glenn on the wrap up. But in Europe, it's just, there's like these rules around motorway etiquette, and it's just brilliant. They just drive up behind you, and they're not going to slow down, and they're flashing their lights, and your only job is to get out of the way. And people know that, so you can quickly move to one side, move back into the other lane. The one thing you can't do is sit in the bloody fast lane, because you will get someone right up your backside, flashing their lights. It's almost like they're going to ram you off the road, but they don't, right? So, and because there's music now and podcasts and gone are the days of trying to find a mixtape that someone's that's been copied 26 times and is hissing in the background, even CDs. You remember the times of having like a booklet thing with 30 CDs in? No, you just put your phone up, hit Spotify or whatever, and choose whatever music you want. Bloody brilliant. Mixcloud, SoundCloud. And so the drive down is pleasurable, and being able to joke and banter with my kids and their friends is gold. So again, it's about letting it be easy, setting the tone and the intention to having a good laugh. Cooking, food, of course, all inclusive, bloody brilliant. But when I am away and I am cooking, I keep it simple. Pretty much we did homemade burgers, we did chicken, sort of like kebab type stuff, just loads of veg, loads of chicken, all grilled up on the barbecue or whatever, and then just let it be easy. I hear when people go self catering and they talk about and bloody cooking and whatever. No, it's like eat together, make meals moments, create conversation, put rules, soft rules if you like, but rules in place around phones at the table. Just have food and meals be real quality time for you and your family. It's very hard, and I've said this before in many other ways. It's very hard if you've never done this. If you didn't have conversation between you and your kids as a core element of your family brand when they were little, you can't get to teenage years and suddenly expect them to start talking to you, because if it's not an ingrained habit, if it's not part of how your family rolls, then they ain't going to suddenly start doing it when they're teenagers, that's for sure. So that is to a degree on you. And if you find yourself in that situation, then you're going to have to call it out. You're going to have interventions, like you're going to have to create moments like at dinner where you say, no, we're not doing phones at the table. Nothing crucifies me more, breaks my heart, if that's a more appropriate expression, than you're sat there at a hotel or some sort of restaurant or whatever. You look across the way and there's a family of 4 or a group of 6, and every bloody one of them is on their mobile phone. I just want to go over there and slap them all round the head. You absolute cretins. The world could end, and you've just used this meal time, this opportunity to break bread together. You've used it as an opportunity to sit there in 6 individual silos looking at some flipping bit of plastic in your hand. Rant over. But yeah, meal times, make them special. And like a complete reverse of that on holiday is, just let it flow. My kids, yeah, for sure, at some points were probably on their phone more than they needed to be. And at some points, my boy and his mate were indoors playing Xbox when it was 90 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius outside. Do you know what, though? They're happy. And me, I'm sat in the sun, drinking a beer, having a laugh, watching something, reading something, like looking at the view. There's very little to be gained in telling people what they should be doing. And I do hear this commonly now about family holidays that were ruined because whichever kid, all they wanted to do was go in their room and be on their phone. I do think that's a problem. I don't think that's an outrageous problem. But did it start on holiday? Really, where did you lose that battle? So have a look at what you can create. Can you play cards? Can you go to a local bar and listen to some music? Can you go and sit on a different beach? Can you look at what entertainment is coming up around the town? What can you do to put your family in a situation where you're going to go out and do something? And then the other part, the complete opposite of that, is if they're happy, just let them be. Okay? Somewhere in the middle is a magic balance there. Next up, the stuff you didn't do. That is very easy. And we're talking kind of about fitness here, but it is also about work and like how much of your time on holiday has to be given to relaxing. Like, is there certain things that you really shouldn't let go? And your food and diet and fitness is probably one of them. For me, fitness is core to who I am and what I do. And I believe it's core to who we are inside the High Value Man Project. So going for a run, doing a couple of workouts, that's not the same as doing it every day. But it was beautiful. Going for a 10K run along the lake front, absolutely mega. Jumping on some bikes and going for a bike ride. Even doing a workout, the view out of my brother's garage, which is the gym, is incredible. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Just because you're on holiday, if you've got habits and routines that lift you up, that are part of your identity, that make you feel better, then keep them up. It says something about you that when you've got standards, that when something's important to you, that you keep them up. I'm going to have to sort this out in the edit, but in case I haven't been able to, yes, my son has just managed to call me again and I've no idea how. I think it's when you have them on your SOS list, it literally bypasses everything. Thank you, Apple, for thinking of our safety. The people, Jo, my girlfriend, came out for 5 days in the middle of the holiday, which is absolutely bloody brilliant. Now, she went away on her own vacation for, earlier on in the summer. And yes, it would be lovely to go and have holidays away together. As much as she's incredible with my kids and they love her, she loves them. Like, she doesn't need 10 days with my kids. So, it's like this point is about making it work. For her to fly out, me drive to Geneva, pick her up, and us to have 5 days together in the middle of the trip was bloody brilliant. And in many ways, it's like the only option, but then you make it an incredible option. You make it brilliant. And just having quality time together, her being part of all the things that I've just mentioned, but then also her and I going off and doing things together on our own. When your kids are teenagers, that's infinitely possible. But if you're married, if you're on holiday together for the whole time, it's important for you to try and carve out moments that are just yours and hers. If you've gone on holiday with friends, that's great. If you haven't, and the kids aren't old enough for you to go out in the evening on your own, then what kind of, do they have a kids club during the day? Like what can you do to enable you and your wife to go and have a little bit of quality time together during your holiday? Quality time and date night is one of the measures inside of our accountability tool, which we call the fire code. And it's absolutely essential that the people you love understand and know that dedicated quality time with them, one-on-one, is important to you. That's, for them, is a measure of how, like literally I've just said it, how important they are to you. And when someone feels that you're their world, or you create moments where they are your world, and amongst all the other people that you have to be responsible for that time, they're your world, then the reward is gold. As men, we get to make those choices. We get to lead in that. I was talking with one of the guys the other day, a relatively new guy I'm working with, and he organised date night for him and his wife, and she burst into tears. I mean, it's tragic and hilarious at the same time, but and it wasn't that he didn't love her. He just left it to her. He'd been so busy that he'd left it all to her. So don't do that. Don't leave it all to her. Be the leader in your relationship. Create the space for magic. And, leading on to that, and, again, it's about the point of the family arguments, about having arguments, is just don't do it. We have it in our ability as men, right? Well, all of us humans do, but in particular, we're talking to men here today, is if you're going to be frustrated, fine, but don't take it out on other people. Work it out. What was it? What do you need to let go of? Do you need to go and have a chill for 10 minutes? You need to go and enjoy a nice walk somewhere. Don't let arguments fester and spoil the holiday. And then, of course, most importantly, is about the laughter and having fun. And a way you can access that powerfully when you're on holiday is really taking moments to sit back, step back, like in the Matrix where he separates out time when you're, like a helicopter shot, like literally catch yourself, catch the moment and step back virtually from the scene and look at it from a different angle. See yourself and your family laughing and joking. See the rewards of your hard work and the ability for you to take them on holiday. Notice the view. Smell the flipping French bakery as you go in there and see all the incredible bread that they do every single day somehow, and 2/3 of the population goes and buys their bread fresh. Soak that up. Try the random crap on the menu. Order the beer that you don't normally order. We were at a music event at the bar by the beach. Every Sunday is live music. And people were dancing. Not many people, but people were dancing. And this one woman, she was kind of dancing and she was calling her husband over. Now, they didn't have any kids. It was just him and her. And he didn't go and dance with her. And I'm like, dude, you're going to get the reward for dancing now, later. And equally, you're going to get shit for not dancing now, later. So if I was you, given that the sun and this beautiful evening the sun's going down, this evening is beautiful, and your wife is having a good time and dancing, you need to get up on the dance floor and get over yourself and just embrace the moment, because that's how moments are turned into something precious. And it is precious moments that turn into memories. When you're looking back at the end of the holiday and you've been conscious about like capturing these moments in your own mind, that energy, that attention to detail rubs off on the people around you. Grabbing your kids and giving them a hug and like, hope you're having a good time. Like doing the same to your missus and telling her you love her and telling you appreciate her. And thanks for this, like for us, for the chance for us to be away together on this great holiday. When that's who you are to the people around you, you'll get the reward back because they'll feel the peace you've created. They'll feel the energy you've created. They'll feel the attention to detail. Everything we've talked about in this episode, they will feel. So no, it's not just about going away on holiday, letting her sort out all the food, making 1,000,001 plans that you've got to stick to because you're on an itinerary. It's not about how much money you spent or how amazing the place that you are visiting is. It's about creating memories. It's about being the present and available father, husband, man that the people you love want and need. So I'd love to know what your kind of holiday tips and tricks are, hacks for having a great time. If some of this has sounded bloody obvious, then tough, and great at the same time. You probably haven't listened to the end if this is already what you do. But other people struggle to get through a holiday without it turning into a drama. And I don't want that for you. That is not the high value man way. If you think this is of value, then please go and give us a review. I need to crank up the reviews on Spotify. You literally hit the three dots, rate this podcast. Apple has to be done on mobile. Share this with other men in your life. Have this be the difference to their holiday. And go and get your high value man score. It's the pathway into the High Value Man Project, into the work that we do, into creating the life that you desire. highvaluemanproject.com/score is how you get that. And I look forward to seeing what number comes up for you and the opportunity for us to talk together. Let's go. Thanks for tuning in to the Jonnie Jensen Show. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review and share it with fellow dads. Creating the life you deserve starts with you. Get your High Value Man blueprint and join our community of motivated modern dads at highvaluemanproject.com. Let's go.